Smells new.
Yeah, pretty close to it.
Is it? How much off-road to road?
Next to no off-road.
Okay,
This one's empty at the moment.
that's fine. Is there anything in the future that will have it off-road at all?
Only if the car jumps out in front of me.
Okay. At least you've got the jumping capability over the ditch. Off-road...
That classic photos with sunset.
Yes. Off-road setting is completely different. The back stays down to throw rocks at your mate. The front dances so it doesn't get caught and go through your pelvis and split it. So the front has to dance. The back has to come up slowly. That's off-road. So as it's on-road, we still need this. Yes?
Is it a compromise between the two?
Yeah, of course it is. When did the textbook ever match the real life? So we reference both. And then we see what works best for us. So at that point, is there a book of settings for this, for on-road, off-road?
Haven't seen them yet. If they are, they ain't in it.
Okay. Should we do it the right way this time? Oh, look at that. Half of it's clean. 210. That's topped. 230. 635. I missed one step. What did I miss? No, stay there. They're too slow. They missed it. Too late. Grab the bars, grab the brake. First number? 210. 160. Very long travel suspension. Rule of thumb, 30%. Who's the math major? You divide it into 3. Is he there or thereabouts? Mathematically, Fork doesn't show that. It's only getting half his travel. That's interesting. Okay, let go of the bars. 560. Dismount, please. Take your time. Topped. 620 again. 560 to 620 is 60. The step I missed, that's a lot. So, when you're off-road, do you really want a spanking? Because that dead space has to be considerably bigger because you've got that much travel. So it's proportional. And because when you hit a kicker and you time it wrong and the front goes first and then the back hits the ridge, you don't ever want the So, a lot of dead space in the back, specifically for off-road. But on-road, if that's too much, what's he going to see on the shock? All clean. So it's got to fix it with more preload. Does that make sense? Next question, is it visible? No, it's not. That sucks. And that's not going to get fixed anytime soon with that piece being removed. So we have absolutely no way of telling if it bottoms out other than our physical feeling of bang. Not yet. So the other part is, can I get close to it? Even as it's set now. Can you do the kickstand for me, please? Yes. Kickstand. So I can feel it hit the rubber. Is he going to sail it that far on the road? No. So the question then becomes, where am I in my settings for compression? If it has it, is that halfway? Can I put it at 25% to maximum? Can I bottom it by hand? No. Okay, there's a good starting point. So it's again, what have I got? How can I deal with it? How can I work with it? Do you have compression damping? Nope. So we have 2 rings here for spring preload, and we have a screw at the bottom for damping. It does one thing. So in this instance, when you have one screw, it affects both directions, which we discovered with race bike, which he will talk about right at the end. Okay, where is it? There it is. So we are half, 1.5 out, half, 1. Kickstand, please. If I can't bottom it now, we're in a much better position, agreed? Oof, nope. That's not going anywhere near bottom. Okay. The downside of that is, if I go in too far, how's it going to come up? So there's a trade here, and we won't know until that gets hot. So on the rebound side, it's not good, is it? It's really slow. So we've got to see if the oil, when it's hot, flows faster. And if it doesn't, we're going to have to open that up, and then we're going to have to wait and see if you go. I know what that is. Then we have to do the spring. We don't have an option of using the damping. On the front, you would expect a cross-country ADV bike to be bouncing in the front. That's how it's designed. It's supposed to. But it shouldn't go 3 bounces. It should do 1.5. Hang on. Stiction. It's brand new. Oops. Instead of complaining, go fix it. So at this point, our rebound read is false because it's grabbing it. If I do it gently, if I do it hard, we're getting different reads all the time. So at that point, again, we've got to try and figure out what we've got. But it does not come up and bounce. So we can afford, on our tension setting, to go a little more open. Give it a little more smoothness, so, because I want to try and match the rear rate. Is that close? Or is the front faster than the rear? Now we got a bunch of experts. Good. So now we've got it close. So the question is, when it's hot, where's it at? Compare. Half one, half. That is compression. Okay, so rebounds 1.5 out. That's a good noise, the suction. That's the oil getting sucked through the holes. Does it top over at all? No. So in this instance, my big concern is back was too soft, front looks to be too hard, but it's a red herring because we're here. Whereas the front end, visually, it's up here so you can get over logs and rocks and trees, and that's this purpose. At that point, the question then becomes when you ride on the road, if it sits and it does this, and you have to go get it around, the front end's too high. So then you come down in 3 millimeter increments to get the bike to go, I want to turn. And when you initiate it, it goes. And that initiation should be that. Just that head movement. You should never have to push to initiate. You should just be able to come forward and the bike then complies. Just same as opening the door for somebody. Action, movement. So at that point, there's a little bit of work to do. If it still stays halfway, we have 2 preload adjusters. So you could back those off, because that's a lot less work than moving the forks, especially with all this tight bodywork in here. So sometimes you can do a test by making it completely soft in the front. How much travel do I use? A visual 3/4. I can live with that. The bike turns nicely. Doesn't matter that you have no preload and no compression. How's the bike ride? Ride's great. What are you going to do over time? Oil gets thinner, put preload and compression back in. Every 1,500 Ks is your test ride day. The fact that something is all the way off should not intimidate you. It should be, that is my starting point, because this is going to evolve and change. When you get your oil done, you may end up with all the preload out, and it feels great because you get the right amount of travel, and that's okay too. So at that point, would you be willing again to not look at numbers and be tied to that number, but be willing to go be the 7-year-old and go discover? Because as adults, we manifest because we think that and we're going to make that happen. So we get to go ride a bike and have fun. So can you bring the discovery disposition to the riding? So again, with that, you may end up dropping the front because even taking preload and compression out still has you at 2/3 travel. So if that's the case, a 3mm drop may fix it. A 6mm drop may. And if that's not in your skill set to do it, help. So there's lots of options. That makes sense? Okay. All right. Thank you.